Hi everybody, I'm Matt, and welcome to the Ice Cold Lich build. So in Season 3, Last Epoch made a lot of changes to the Acolyte class, and specifically added a new node for the Lich Subclass, Flay, which is what this build relies on. This is the Cold Lich or Mana Flay, and I got this build from Maxroll. It was Volca put it out preseason, and kind of theory crafted that, and I just wanted to play it. It sounded like it might be fun. I decided I wanted to play Acolyte this season anyways. Leveled as Necro, tried Fire Necro, and then decided I wanted to switch to Lich, and started gearing up for that. And I'm really glad I did. This build is just tons of fun. It has its pros and cons like all kinds of other builds, but I think that if you're looking for a single character, not minions and stuff like that, even though you do have a couple, this build can be a lot of fun. This is definitely not a tanky build. You can take some hits, but you're going to be dodging and repositioning a lot with this build. So the way I kind of like to do these is I'll start off with some of the pros and cons, and then we'll get into the build itself. The reason I like to do the pros and cons first is because you don't want to watch this super long video and decide, oh yeah, this isn't for me. I want to kind of give you some of that information up front. You may still decide later you don't want to, but I think it's a lot of fun, and I think anybody who is playing as an Acolyte and who maybe doesn't love minions should give this one a try. So let's take a look at some of the build. Okay, before we start talking about the skills, I just wanted to mention the one required item that you do have for this, and that's going to be these right here, Army of Skin. They boost your Flay and give you two things. The Excoriation, which gives you increased area of effect and extra melee damage. Also, they have a chance to cast Rip Blood, which when you're going through and you'll see you hit an enemy and all of a sudden everything around it explodes, that's your Rip Blood being cast. Now, because this is a cold version, that explosion is an ice explosion, so you'll see that happening a lot. These boots are easy to get, a little difficult to get with more LP. I got quite a few 3 LP, tons of 2s, plenty of 1. Never saw a 4, but getting 3 is definitely doable. So that's the only required item you're going to have for this build. And when you're looking at this particular one, we'll talk about it more later as far as what stats you want to look for and stuff like that. But I wanted to talk about the skills first. So, of course, you've got your Reaper form. This one, I didn't think I need to invest as many points as some of the others in, because we really want to get to our Reaper form, and there's a couple things that we want out of it, but nothing crazy. So, definitely want Vile Shroud. Gives you necrotic and poison resistance. You're going to want your health to decay a little more slowly. If you wanted to add more into this one, you definitely can. That will help let you last in Reaper form just a little bit longer. Increased health leech. Leech is one of your main sources of sustain in this, or it is your main source of sustain. So make sure you're getting that one. And then, like I said, this one you're not going to want to level with Reaper form, but later on you can. So that's where having that sustain is nice. But if you don't have most of these, you're going to have a hard time. Definitely want to boost your attack and move speed. You're going to want to move very quickly. This will help with that. Okay, so pretty straightforward as far as what you get. Oh, also, Haunting. You have a chance to apply Mark for Death. Mark for Death is a curse, and we're going to boost our damage to cursed enemies. And I'll show you that one in just a moment. So, on to our 2 damage dealers. So we've got Harvest, and actually let's talk about Flay first. So we've got Flay. We want to have a chance for Blood Eruption, more melee damage. I didn't put 3 into this one because I didn't want to reduce my attack speed, and instead I actually added more for crit. This build attacks so fast, you're going to crit quite a lot. Attack speed again, and then area. So getting a larger area allows you to have those larger blood eruptions, that kind of thing. So Spectral Flay is also very nice. More melee damage, cooldown recovery, and then Spectral Flay chance. The really important thing though, especially for this build, is right over here. Frostblight. So that's going to switch everything to a cold skill, and then you're going to do more damage to chilled or frozen enemies, and then exposed flesh, another curse. Okay, and then when we get into Harvest, there we go. More damage against cursed enemies. So we're going to do 52% more damage to cursed enemies, and we have 2 different curses that we can apply, or that we can get on those enemies. You're also going to gain some ward here, base crit and attack speed, global increased crit chance. Those are kind of your main things. You're going for crit, you're going for damage, and you want to get any attack speed nodes you can. This one right up here, Shatter, is also the cold skill for this. So you also get cold melee damage per dexterity. We'll talk about in the gear. Cold melee damage is your biggest boost to damage. And then we get bleed to frostbite. Okay. And the last 2, so we've got Aura of Decay. This one, again, switching it to a cold skill. You're not going to do much with Aura of Decay, but it is going to keep you alive. If you notice down here at the bottom this whole time, my health has been going up and down. So right here, percent of missing health healed, 8%. So while Reaper is bringing you down, Aura of Decay is bringing you back up. Okay, so that's why we want to take this. Poison damage taken, 15%. Versus poison and cold. Okay, and then down here you have more poison resistance, and then you get more health regen on deactivate if you do turn it off. I don't typically turn it off. And there we go. So let's go over to Transplant. Transplant's your movement skill. If you wanted to swap this one out, you probably could, but I find it very good for repositioning. I don't typically use it to deal damage at all. It's really just to get me out of a bad situation and let me reposition and readdress the fight. So this one, you know, having the haste and frenzy, getting the bone armor after you teleport is nice. And then detonation leaves a pool of blood. I will say you will notice the fear on departure and fear on arrival. If you do happen to be jumping from mob to mob, you will notice them kind of stutter before they start attacking. So those are the skills. Pretty straightforward on those. Alright, so let's take a minute to talk about passives. This one is pretty straightforward. You're going to start, and this, I did vary a little bit from the build guide on this one again. I think I took a little more damage here, a little armor, and then intelligence. And then these will give you your drain converted to ward. got your intelligence, and then dealing increased damage at low life. You're always a low life in Reaper form. Okay, down here you got melee damage, and then this one is a kill threshold. We're actually not using this kill threshold. If you go back and take a look at Harvest, there's a kill threshold in there at 12%. I'm really just doing this one to get the dodge. So the dodge rating per intelligence and dodge rating per vitality. So that's going to help us a little bit with some damage protection. And you'll dodge quite a bit, actually. And then intelligence drops your resistances, but it also gives us some elemental penetration. Increased damage for more drain. We're taking the first one just so we can get the health and the delayed hit damage from bosses and rare. Like I said, you'll still get one shot, but that delayed damage, and with how much leech you have, you'll be just fine. So, of course, we have to have this one. It's so important because otherwise you cannot put that dagger in the offhand. You cannot dual wield without it. This one I changed a little bit because I didn't want quite as much drain. So I took 6 points. I could probably take the others and gain the intelligence, but I put those back in the beginning. And then that pretty much wraps up your passives. Okay, so I just wanted to take us through like a normal monolith and kind of what you do with the build when you're farming or anything like that. So easy, super straightforward. Load in, and immediately you want to switch on your Aura of Decay. There we go. And we'll start moving. And as soon as I see enemies, I'm going to swap to Corrupted form. Why not? Swap, and there you go. You're going to Flay, get around the map, and build up your excoriation stack. And you're just going to coast around. Coast around, Flay to harvest, Flay to harvest. You can stick on Flay for as long as you want. Double T6, why not? Anyways, so you'll go through, and like I said, Flay to harvest, Flay to harvest. And there you go. You see my chest piece working. You're going to reposition as much as you need to. Do a quick nemesis. We'll skip it for now. Transplant around the map, and there we go. It finally pulled me out of Reaper form. And if you notice, I wasn't going too fast through the Monolith. Now, I will show you, because I did find this out, you can still kill stuff and not in your form. You just have to be a little careful. Maybe don't make big plays, but you can still walk around. And then you're just back into it, and there you go. Your attack speed is really high, which is good. And there we go. We just cleared a monolith. And just a couple of minutes. I don't have the exact timer, but it was probably under 3 minutes. And we're out. That was the Ice Cold Lich build. I hope everybody liked it, and if you have any questions, feel free to put them down in the comments. Hopefully I explained some of the thought behind some of the changes, as well as kind of what you're looking for when you're gearing up and building it out and things like that. yeah, just let me know. And hey, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it.